Greetings. Back with another one. With this one, I want to pay my respects and give thanks to old Sensei Morihei Ueshiba, the founder of Aikido. Now, I would say Aikido is it's an approach that I think a lot of people uh don't take seriously. I think a lot of people kind of talk down about it, and at least through my experience, and every time when Aikido it gets brought up, people say that it doesn't work, or say that it's useless and all that stuff. I don't know. It just out of all of the martial arts I hear, I just hear a lot of negative stuff about Aikido. But like the great Bruce Lee said, if it helps you to look after yourself when you're in a bout, then you should learn to use it, no matter where it comes from, no matter what it is. And I don't, and me personally, I don't think there's no such thing as a useless martial art. I just don't think it is. I mean, obviously it's good. Obviously it's good to have a combination of things and putting them together and stuff. That's what that's where the having all the multitudes of different approaches and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't understand that Aikido it was very hybrid in its sense of all of the stuff that Morihei practiced before he created Aikido. I believe he has some background in it's like because I'm later on I'm going to look up some of the Boken training that he was did. So he had some Boken skills. Obviously the Boken, the wooden sword, and swords, weaponries and blades and stuff like that. And I believe he had some judo and jujitsu and then fencing and sparring and stuff like that. So he put a lot of stuff together when he came up with Aikido and stuff like that. But what I love about Aikido the most, besides just the techniques and stuff like that, I just love the philosophy and the psychology that Morihei put into it. And just wanted to go over the history of Aikido and stuff like that, and Morihei's life for people who may not be too familiar. They may know the name, but they probably don't know how his upbringing and how everything came to be when he was founding Aikido. So here we go. Aikido's founder, Morihei Ueshiba, was born in Japan in December 14th, 1883. As a boy, he often saw local thugs beat up his father for political reasons. He set out to make himself strong so that he could take revenge. He devoted himself to hard physical conditioning and eventually to the practice of martial arts, receiving certificates of mastery in several styles: jujitsu, fencing, spear fighting. In spite of his impressive physical and martial arts capabilities, however, he felt very dissatisfied. He began delving into religions in hopes of finding a deeper significance in life, all the while continuing to pursue his study of Budo, or the martial arts. By combining his martial arts training with his religious and political ideologies, he created the modern martial art of Aikido. Ueshiba decided on the name Aikido in 1942. Before that, he called his martial arts Aikido Budo, or Aikido no Michi. On the technical side, Aikido is rooted in several styles of jujitsu, from which modern judo is also derived. In particular, Daido Rido, Aiki, Jiu-Jitsu, as well as sword and spear fighting arts. See what I'm saying? When you see Aikido practitioners in the demonstration stuff, you merely see the harmonizing philosophy of what Ueshiba, what Morihei, where he conveyed in his philosophy and stuff like that. That's mostly what you see in the demonstration. You just see like the throws and the takedowns and stuff like that. But like I said, Morihei, he had a background in weaponry, and he had a background in jujitsu and judo and stuff like that, and he put that stuff together and put it into Aikido. But a lot of people say that Aikido, when you see the demonstration, you just see the throws and the harmonizing and stuff like that, and people think that's all Aikido is. No, it's not. There's a lot of, like I said, there is a lethal side to every martial art. But the key to martial arts is not to it's not about destruction. It's it's not about hurting. It's about healing. You see what I'm saying? So Morihei, he really wanted to put that into play and that's where all the harmonizing and stuff like that. And of course, he was a very religious guy. I didn't know that about him. I didn't know he was a really religious guy. Maybe he practiced Shinto, maybe, which is the religion that's predominant in Japan. But I don't know. But it's cool to know about this stuff though, that I didn't know about him. And where am I? Oh, however, we must also realize that many Aikido techniques are the result of Master Ueshiba's own innovation. On the religious side, Ueshiba was a devotee of one of Japan's so-called new religions, Omotokyo. I don't even know if I heard of that. Omotokyo. Omotokyo was and is part of Neo-Shintoism. Okay, see, Shinto that I do know. Okay, Shintoism and part of socio-political idealism. One goal of Omotokyo has been the unification of all the humanity in a single heavenly kingdom on earth, where all religions would be united under the banner of Omotokyo. It is impossible significantly to understand many of Sensei's writings and sayings without keeping the influence of Omotokyo firmly in mind. So, Morihei, he really wanted his philosophical, sensibilities to, constant. He wanted to coalesce. He didn't, cause like I said, it's the whole taijutsu or the yang philosophy. One can't exist without the other. So I believe that's what he wanted to convey in Aikido. He didn't want the spiritual and the philosophical to be separate or something like that. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice that he wanted those concepts to always remain whole as of instead of separating them. He believed that one can exist without the other. So that's pretty cool. So some examples, I guess these are quotes from Sensei. Aikido is not a way to fight with or defeat enemies. It is a way to reconcile the world and make all human beings one family. And the next one. The essence of Aikido is the cultivation of ki, a vital force, internal power, mental, spiritual energy. The secret of Aikido is to become one with the universe. Aikido is primarily a way to achieve physical and psychological self-mastery. The body is the concrete unification of the physical and spiritual created by the universe, and so forth. At the core of almost all philosophical interpretations of Aikido, however, we may identify at least two fundamental threads: a commitment to a peaceful resolution of conflict whenever possible, a commitment to self-improvement through Aikido training. It's like it's very I don't know. I just love that he was all about preserving life and not about taking it and stuff like that. So, and that's what martial arts is really about. It's all about healing. For me, when I was practicing, I practiced because I didn't want to fight, and that's how I looked at it. Some people, some practitioners, they take that aggression and they disseminate it in different ways. But I'm more about the healing side of it, and the healing side of the house. And like I said, there's a lethal side to every martial art, because whenever you're presented with some sort of conundrum or some sort of obstacle, and sometimes the last resort, you gotta do what you gotta do to to protect your neck, if you will. But I love that Morihei's approach was always to heal and always to and what was the that one that I like? Phone going off. Yes, like he said, it says it is a way to reconcile the world and make all human beings one family. It's not a way to fight, but or to defeat enemies. So like I said, it seems like you're helping the person. Because and like I said, it's a lot of maturity that that goes into it, and that's what I like about it. A lot of maturity, a lot of discipline, fortitude, and all that stuff. But yeah, man. I mean, Morihei, he was just. I just love this. I love his philosophy and that how he saw martial arts and what he wanted to put into Aikido. Because I guess because it said that he was dissatisfied. So I guess when he was studying like jujitsu and judo and other weaponries and stuff like that, I guess he felt like it wasn't enough I guess spirituality, and I guess like I'm not what I'm not what you would call a very spiritual person, stuff like that. But I like that how he wanted more in what he was training before. So I mean, he really wanted to put more, you know, ideologues and into the art and stuff like that. So I mean, that's brilliant. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful, and I like to bring up O Sensei Morihei a lot because I don't think that he really gets his due a lot when you talk about some of the great founders and stuff like that. And I'm sure Japan he's very much remembered and very much celebrated and revered. But probably when you talk about worldwide and stuff like that, I think probably maybe only Aikido practitioners maybe know. But when you have people who train in different disciplines, they probably really won't know Morihei or his philosophy and what he wanted to convey, as a martial artist and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted I got this video here loaded up, and I wanted just to see if I can do something with this here. Yeah, I just wanted to this is a training with the Boken, and let me see if I can get this going here. Yeah, but I just wanted to look at some of this Boken training. I'm probably not gonna watch the whole thing, but I just wanted to let people know who think that Aikido is just maybe too passive. I guess I like that he shows his skill with the weaponry and stuff like that in training, and this is all of the stuff that he injected into Aikido. It wasn't just the throws and the redirecting and stuff because, like I said, for a Japanese martial art, Aikido, because Morihei was Japanese, it's a very soft style, which is more of the Chinese side of the house. The Chinese martial arts are more soft and more, flowy and stuff like that. Japanese styles are very hard, with the blocking and the striking and stuff like that. But for Morihei to create a style as a Japanese guy that had more of a soft side of the house, instead of using force to meet force like the hard style does, he was more into redirecting the force. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool that he I can't think of any arts that was created on Japanese soil that had a soft approach like Aikido. I'm sure there's probably more out there, but most of them, like when karate and jujitsu and judo and stuff like that, and those are very hard styles and stuff like that, very hard systems and stuff like that. And but yeah, I just want to take a look at this real quick. And like I said, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. I just wanted to see a little bit of. Like I said, for an older man, he's pretty fast, pretty quick there too. And like I said, this is his weapon training, and like this is the stuff that he practiced before he came up with Aikido. Look like the stop hit there, measuring, gauging the opponent. Yeah, like knowing how to gauge. Yeah, the measure. Yeah, see, measuring the distance and the gauging. Knowing how to knowing how to sidestep. Because bouts are three dimensional, so you got to know how to sway and feint out and these strikes and stuff like that. I mean, obviously easier said than done, but it's the principle that you focus on. And what kind of gets on my nerves is when, for like example, when people are watching like demonstrations or when they're watching like motion pictures and stuff like that, and they see like choreography and fights and stuff like that, people will say, "Oh, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work." that wouldn't work. Well, and I think the mistake that a lot of people make, I think a lot of people, they view stuff in sequence rather than viewing them in principle. Because whenever I see demonstrations stuff like this, or if I'm watching just like a fight scene in the film, I view them in principle. Like because like basically what I like the way I take away from stuff like this, or particularly in motion pictures and stuff like that, what those fight scenes give you, they're giving you options. Like what can you do? Because basically, when you're seeing all of the, the blocks and all the stuff, and the swing and stuff, like how they do with the choreography, obviously a realistic fight wouldn't look like that. I mean, obviously, when it comes to somebody that's trained, a real bout will probably last seconds for someone who's trained who really knows what they're doing and stuff like that. So you have to view things you can't view things in sequence when you like boom, 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 because realistically that would not happen. You have to view it based in principle, and you have to view it looking at the options that are being dealt to you. And that's what I think they do in demonstrations and stuff like that. Because like I've seen Aikido demonstrations and stuff like that when you have one guy and he's throwing everybody around and stuff like that. So people will watch that and say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. That wouldn't work." Well, of course, because you can't view it based on sequence. You have to view it based on principle. Like if a person's coming at you from this direction, what would you do? If they're coming at you from the side, what would you do? They're basically giving you options or what you can do. That's I think the mistake that a lot of people make. They view it in sequence rather than view it in principle. That was just a thought. Yeah, see stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Like he's basically what he's doing. He's showing you. He's giving you options of directions, because just in case if you are oppose multiple people, they're giving you options and stuff like that. Like people will see stuff like this and say like, "There's no way he's getting out of this." So I mean, chances are they might not. But I like that they're giving you options of what you possibly can do. So you see stuff like this. See, I love stuff like this. Like I said, it's giving you options. It's the principle that matters. Just giving you all of these different examples of what you can do and what you have available to you. That's how I think people should view it. What's available to you? Options. Now, obviously, the guy opposes throwing himself stuff like that, but still, I mean, I'm telling you something. There's a lot of chin-na in Aikido too, and if I don't know who knows what chin-na is, but chin-na is basically like, see, that's what he's doing. What he's doing right there, you see, bone manipulation. Bone manipulation, chin-na, which is Chinese, right? But it focuses on pressure points and bone manipulation and joint manipulation and stuff like that. A lot of that is in Aikido too, which can be deadly when you know what to manipulate. The fingers, the wrists, arms, shoulders, and stuff like that. The neck area, stuff like that. I mean, I have a book that really digs deep into chin-na too. Yeah, they like showing the feet, the footwork, and stuff like that. But like I said, man, for an older guy, man, like he really kept himself in good shape. He really, he doesn't look like decrepit and stuff like that. How but he really kept himself. I think he lived to be what in his 80s, like late 80s and stuff like that. But he's moving pretty quick. Like he was 77 years old and he's moving like that. It's brilliant, man. He was in Hawaii. Did not know that. I did not know he. I know. I didn't know he ever left Japan. I didn't know that. See what I'm saying? Like giving you options, showing you options. Principle. How much we got going on here, man? But yeah, man. I just wanted to just give you some examples about that. Just running that clip there, and I mean, just the footwork, knowing how to measure, engage, your opponent and stuff like that, knowing how to, approach from the weak side. Now, when I say weak side, for those who may not be familiar or, privy to it, when I say weak side, if a person is striking you, depending on which side they strike you on, you always want to attack the weak side so they don't have extra weapons. So if a person is striking you, this way, you want to be on this side, on this side, because if you're on, this if you're on this side right here, then I can, strike with the other side. You see what I'm saying? So, knowing how to, redirect it and attack on the weak side and stuff like that. So now, obviously, with weaponry, that would be kind of tricky because the weapon is just the extension of the body. But it's like I said, I just love that the options that not just Aikido, but all practices do. And I just would, and like I said, and the best way to cause like I said, I'm a cup half full type of person. I don't like to look at any martial art or any combative art in a negative manner, because there's something useful in all of it to me. And so I mean, and I heard Joe Rogan one time, he was like, well, anybody who trains Aikido, they don't want to fight. Well, who the hell wants to fight, honestly? I mean, that's the concept. If you train arts because you don't want to fight. But like I said, I mean, that's he's a UFC guy, so I mean, I guess the mentality is different. But Joe Rogan's a beast, though. I mean, he's one of the best kickers I've seen. But it's just things like that, when people talk down about Aikido and stuff like that, and obviously Steven Seagal, he's a big name when it comes to Aikido and stuff like that with the films and all that stuff. But yeah, man, credit to this man. Sensei, Morihei, Ueshiba. And I just wanted to give him his roses. And obviously he's no longer with us. I think he died in the 60s, I think. Or was it 60s or 70s? I can't remember. But yeah, man, Sensei, thank you. Thank you. And to all of your disciples and all of your students who are still keeping Aikido strong and well respected, and all of the practitioners from all over the world, I thank you all. Like I said, man, I don't give a damn where it is, what it is, where it comes from. I'm gonna find some use in it, no matter what it is. I always kind of favor the Chinese stuff. That's how I started. With the Thai boxing and stuff like that. Then I went into kung fu, and then I went into a little the hard side of the house with Shotokan and stuff like that. But and of course Western boxing, traditional Western boxing and stuff like that. But just and I wanted to get into more ground stuff like that. But also China, I've been delving into that. But I really want to dig deep into like Wing Chun, and knowing how to use the dummies and practice with the dummies and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I have a video when they talk about all of the different various dummies in the Chinese martial arts and stuff like that, and it is pretty remarkable how many of them that they use in all of the different arts and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just rambling as always. But Sensei, thank you. And I'm gonna get up out of here, and 31 cents at it. Another one for the archives. It's your brother Bleak signing out. Until next time, you guys. Os.